How's it going? My name is Tim, welcome to my shop, and today we're finally going to be finishing up this coat rack that we've been working on. So I've actually had the joinery done for quite a while, but the problem is before finish it needs to get below 90 degrees in the shop, and it's the middle of summer here in the Northeast, and it is hot and humid, and my shop is a uninsulated garage, so it has taken multiple weeks for me to find a few days where it's going to be cool enough and less humid enough for me to do the finish in a reasonable amount of time. So right now we're going to smooth plane everything, make sure it's ready for finish, and then get started. Okay, and the first part of any job is to sharpen the tools. 9 times out of 10 a sharp tool will solve most problems, so I figured if I do it at the very beginning I won't have any problems. And most of the time that just is a quick stropping of the plane blade, and this is a pretty small project, but I strop quite often, so I'll probably still strop once or twice before the end of each project. And the strop is always kept close to the bench, so it's easy to grab, do a quick strop, and I am ready to go. And at the end of putting the plane back together, I always just check to make sure that everything's still lined up. And there we go. We'll listen to the smooth plane for a little bit just because I like that sound. And for this project, I'm going to pre-finish everything, so it's a little bit easier to get everything finished the way I want it. And I start with a coat of black cherry stain. I'm matching some other pieces of furniture in the room, so it needs to be an aged cherry look. So I'm starting with black cherry, and I do a quick coat, sort of let it soak in a little bit, and then wipe it off. And I was actually a little disappointed with the color, I guess, as I did some test pieces, but it still turned out a little bit too purple for my tastes. So for the top coat, instead of doing just something clear, I ended up going with an amber shellac just to warm it up a little bit. And this worked really well, so it made everything a much more warm brown color rather than the purple of the initial stain. And I ended up doing, I don't know, probably 4 coats of the amber shellac, and after each coat I will just do a light sanding, and then the next coat of shellac will be a thinned down version. So what you're seeing here is probably the last coat. It starts with a 2-pound cut, and then I think I ended up with maybe a 1/4 pound cut for the last one. I mean, it was mainly just alcohol. But to put it on, I just do a little folded up rag just to make sure there's no seams, and then lightly brush the rag back and forth. And I mean, really by the time you get to the end of each layer, it's nearly dry already. So this last coat is mainly just alcohol, just to get rid of some of the brush marks. And on to glue up. So what's nice about having this sort of design, meaning everything is tight in there, mortises and everything, is that you really don't have to use any clamps. It's really just pressure pushing everything down. But there's a very precise order that everything needs to go in, so I had to make sure that everything was marked even past the finishing stage, so all the mortises have little numbers on them. And finally, we are on to adding the hooks, and I have 4 hooks, so 1 on each side, and opposite sides are actually lower than the others, mainly so my daughter can reach the hooks and she's able to add her own jackets to the coat rack, which is actually one of the reasons why it's here, so she can clean up after herself. And there we go. So the finished project, it it looks really good. Matches the furniture in the room pretty well. It's a couple little gaps you can see, but I mean overall it looks pretty nice. The design is really cool. It should be a nice eye catcher. And that is it for me. So I'm really happy with the way this project turned out. It works really well. I like the stain, the design down at the bottom, although I can't take credit for it. I just sort of copied the original design. I think it looks really nice. So I think it's great. It could have been done a little faster, but the weather slowed down the finishing process quite a bit. But I hope you enjoyed the videos, and don't forget to subscribe, follow me on Instagram. I post regular updates there, so that's the best way to take a look at what's going on in the shop. Thanks for watching.